Hello everyone and welcome back to Speak Like a Leader. I'm Paula and today we're going to be opening a new series of videos called Business Case Studies. Now, many of my students have requested this because working on case studies, on real-life case studies, is a very good way of learning new business English vocabulary, nice expressions, and also looking at what's happening in the world and how companies are dealing with different problems. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to go through the first case study, which is connected to an example with an incident from a famous company, an airline company more specifically, and how they dealt with a specific problem. So we're going to go deep into that. I'm going to take you through the case study, and then I'm going to take you through exercises as well. The second case study to follow is a case study that is related again to a crisis. The second company is going to be Starbucks. So the second case study is a company named Starbucks and an incident they had with racial discrimination. And the third case study is going to be about Johnson & Johnson, the well-known established company, with an issue they had with one of their products, and more specifically, Tylenol. Okay, so in these case studies, what we're interested in is also developing our debate skills. So how can we argue different opinions? Do we agree with something? Do we disagree with something? And what is the language that we use when we want to go through these kind of situations that are very common in a business context? So why don't we jump in to one of these case studies right now? Next case study we're going to be working on is a case study from the company Johnson & Johnson, and it's called the Tylenol cyanide crisis. Tylenol is a pain reliever, so it's a kind of medication that Johnson & Johnson was offering in the past, and some incidents that happened because of it. So this is a 3-page case study. It's not very long. The way I would like you to go through it is read it and stop in areas that you see highlighted in red. So you will see that as you move along, I have highlighted some nice words and expressions in red. And this is something that I want you to start doing as well when you're reading your own articles and case studies. When you find a nice word that you would like to start using, learn to highlight it and highlight not only the word, but the whole sentence the word is in, or the whole expression that word is in. And then try to use it in your own context. So try to think about, how would I use this word in a work context or in a life context? Okay, why don't we read the first paragraph together just to get an understanding of what this case study is all about? So what it says is the following. Johnson & Johnson, a global leader in pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and consumer health products, faced a severe crisis in 1982 with the tampering of its Tylenol pain reliever. Tampering is when somebody has done something to the package, to the bottle of this medicine. They have opened it and they have probably put something in this product that shouldn't be in there. Okay, that's just a hint for the rest of the case study. So this crisis involved cyanide-laced capsules. So these capsules had cyanide. This is a very dangerous and risky ingredient, led to the death of 7 people in the Chicago area and triggered a nationwide recall of 31 million bottles of Tylenol. So because this ingredient was found, the company had to bring back, recall 31 million of its bottles. So this case study explores the origins of this crisis, its consequences, how Johnson & Johnson responded, and provides insights on how pharmaceutical companies should prepare for and respond to a crisis. It will give you some background information about Johnson & Johnson for whoever doesn't know this company. It talks about how the crisis emerged. So how it began. It actually began in 1982 when a 12-year-old girl took a Tylenol capsule and soon afterwards experienced severe symptoms leading to her death. And over the next few days, 6 more people in the Chicago area died after consuming these Tylenol pills, these capsules, laced with cyanide. The news of these deaths quickly spread, causing widespread panic among consumers. So this is a nice expression, widespread panic. Now, afterwards, you will read about the consequences of the crisis. So public health and safety concerns, a massive product recall, what we said that they had to bring back 31 million bottles, the financial losses for the company, the reputation damage, and of course the legal and regulatory investigation or scrutiny. We're going to look at how Johnson & Johnson responded to this. They actually immediately recalled the products for public safety priority. They had transparent, so open, honest communication. They collaborated with the authorities. They created product safety measures. They rebuilt consumer trust and built innovative solutions so that this would never happen again. Actually, what they created was tamper-evident packaging. This is something that many other companies used in the future because of this incident. Tamper-evident packaging is the little thing that they have in bottles where once you open it, you can't close it again. So everybody knows that it has been opened. Okay, that's called tamper-evident packaging, and Johnson & Johnson was the first company to introduce that. And then you move on to the lessons for pharmaceutical companies on how to manage a crisis, how you need to prioritize consumer safety, develop a comprehensive crisis response plan, maintain transparent communication, invest in product safety and innovation, because many companies don't want to invest in this, but it is really important to adhere to the highest safety standards, engage with regulators and authorities, and of course, after the crisis, rebuild the brand trust through consistent actions. Okay, so feel free to go through the entire case study, read carefully through it, and stop when you see highlighted expressions that you can go through and create your own sentences. Now, moving on to the exercises, first you have some debate statements where you have to state your opinion, whether you agree, disagree, and why. For example, number 1 says, companies should always prioritize consumer safety over financial concerns, regardless of the potential losses. Do you agree or do you disagree with this statement? It's a good idea to write down your answer in 2 or 3 sentences. It doesn't have to be long. Try to be as concise as you can and brief, using some of the new vocabulary that you learned in the case study. Moving on to exercise number 2, there's a fill-in-the-gap exercise, which is multiple choice. So you're given 4 options, but you have to choose the correct one. For example, number 1 says, Johnson & Johnson, a global leader in pharmaceuticals, faced a severe what in 1982? They faced a severe problem. What's another word that you can use instead of a problem? Okay, so you can check this exercise out and then move on to exercise number 3, a fill-in-the-gap exercise to find the missing preposition. Number 1 says, Johnson & Johnson, founded in 1886, is renowned for its commitment to quality. So the correct preposition is for. Moving on to exercise number 4, we have a word building exercise. So you have some words in the brackets and you have to create words from the same family. For example, create a verb or a noun or an adjective or an adverb. Let's look at number 1. Johnson & Johnson faced significant something for its initial handling of the crisis. You have the verb to criticize, and you have to turn it into a noun here. So you could say it faced significant criticism for its initial handling of the crisis. Exercise number 5, you have a fill-in-the-gap paragraph which has been taken from the case study. So you've already read it somewhere. And you have to fill in the gaps with the following words. Your words are scrutiny, unprecedented, tamper evident, transparency, mitigation, recall, sabotage, and stringent. Okay, so you can try this one out. And lastly, exercise number 6 are idioms related to this topic of crisis management. So you have an idiom, for example, a bitter pill to swallow. It's an expression we use in English, which means something unpleasant that must be accepted. In the case study, it could be used in the sense that the Tylenol crisis was a bitter pill to swallow for Johnson & Johnson, forcing them to take drastic measures. Or, for instance, in a work-related sense, you could say that this new responsibility that was added to my work was a bitter pill to swallow. So I didn't really like it, but I had to accept it. So what you can do in this exercise is go through the idioms, make sure you understand what they mean, and then if you like, write 10 sentences, including these idioms in your own context, business context. Okay. Having finalized your exercises, of course, there is the answer file on page 10. So answers to all the exercises that you saw above. So feel free once you finish to check them out. Or if you're not sure about an answer, just, scroll down and check the answer to that one and then move on. Okay. So I hope you found this case study interesting. Feel free to subscribe to the channel because there are constantly new case studies being uploaded that you can use to practice your business English skills on a weekly basis. Okay, so it was lovely to see everyone here and to be able to go through this case study together. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.